Hello, everyone, and welcome to another VanHack podcast success case interview. I'm Ilya, and today I'm extremely excited to be interviewing and joined with Irla, who got hired as a developer in Toronto in the last few months, or about a year ago now, right, Irla? And she's been living in Toronto and enjoying her life there. So let's hear all about it. Irla, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Alia. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? How's your Friday afternoon?
Yeah, things are nice. The weather is good, so everything is good here.
Cool. Summer in Canada. That's nice. Awesome. So let's talk about quickly. Just who are you? What's your background professionally? Like, tell me about your professional experience. Everyone knows, what your experience is.
Okay, so I'm a software developer. I've been working with Java for like 8 years. So
Mhm.
I was focused more on backend and developing for like big companies in Brazil of banks and stuff like fintech.
Mhm.
And then now I'm working with JavaScript, so a little bit different, but still on more focus on backend.
Cool. So like Node and TypeScript,
Yes. No, not TypeScript, just
just
like
Node,
vanilla. Yeah.
vanilla. Nice. Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
JavaScript.
Sweet. Yeah, it's always interesting the different tech stacks people use and companies are using. Okay, so what kind of like made you have this idea to move abroad? Like, where did this come from? What's your how long have you been trying to get this goal?
Oh, it's a really interesting story. So it started like in 2012. So we got this talk from the province of Quebec. They talk about immigration and how we could go and everything. So we got really hyped, really interested, me and my husband. And then we talked and then we decided, let's immigrate, let's go to Quebec, let's do this. And we started studying French and doing all that thing. And I got pregnant. So
Hmm.
everything that happened. And then we're like, okay, so pause. So we'll have the baby and then we get her vaccines and then we start again because I was all
Hmm.
freaked out with vaccines and stuff. Then okay, then life happened. She was getting bigger, and then when she was like 4, we decided to go abroad and do a associate degree. So my husband went to do his associate degree in software development,
Hmm.
and then we went to Utah because of
Hmm.
that. And just like giving a little bit context, in 2017, I was doing the planning, got the visa, the student visa to go to US, and I was talking to a friend, and he told me about VanHack.
Oh, cool.
And then he was like, "Oh, this is company that I'm applying for and everything." And I was like, "Oh, interesting." But I already had like this whole plan already set to go and visa and everything. And I'm like, "Okay, that's really nice. I'll just write it down." And I wrote it down. And it was like, I will look into this later.
Hmm. Cool.
But I really had that mindset. And then we went to US and I started to learn a little bit more about, because I was mainly focused on Java and backend. So I was not
Hmm.
used to the web world where we like do other stuffs and API calls and all those, and like frameworks like React, Vue. I was not in tune with those technologies, so I started
Hmm.
doing a nano degree and starting to like learn this new stuff, right? So after that, in 19, my husband was going to finish in December his
Hmm.
associate degree, and mid-July, I think, we talked about what was going to be the plan
Hmm.
because he would be able to work for a year, and then we had to have a plan to what to do.
Yeah.
And then he said, "You know what? We should try the Van Hack." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, let's do that."
Hmm.
So I subscribed and I did the code verification and the English test. And I
Hmm.
think 10 days before that, I was invited for the Leap event. It
Wow.
was so fast. It was like, I would never imagine. We were like, okay, I'm gonna do this now in 2019 and mid July, and maybe like in 2021 after like he got some experience on the software
Hmm.
development area, and then we'd be ready to try and get interviews.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then it was like already in the Leap event doing interviews, so I'm going a little ahead of the story, but
No,
it
that's
was
cool.
it was basically something that we always wanted, like Canada. I just regret not doing like when I found out in 2017. It would be really different, though, that whole story.
Yeah, well, you're here now, and that's all that matters, right? It
Yeah,
worked out
that's
at the
true.
end.
Mhm.
Cool. So how was the process? I guess we already answered this question, but I was asking how the process was before VanHack. You asked that, and how you found VanHack. You answered as well. How about we go to this? How did VanHack help you? How did you said 10 days after you joined, you were invited to the Leap event? Maybe we can talk about what the Leap event was and how that experience was.
Okay, so the Leap event was magical. It was super interesting. I couldn't imagine that something like that would happen. It was really good. So it started after I did the verification and the test code. They sent me an email that I could subscribe. I subscribed. I got an interview, I think, with Andressa, and then she did this interview, and I was selected to participate. So after that, we started a series of interview mock tests. Um,
Mhm.
how you say the courses and one-on-ones and a lot of material that I went through the website and got some interview for like Java questions that
Mhm.
usually they do for doing code tests and all those materials. So I went through a lot of stuff, a lot of materials. And then we got the list of the companies that would join the Leap event, and we started studying those companies,
Mhm.
studying their culture, studying doing our curriculum to match the job description,
Mhm.
having like reviews of our curriculum that VanHack does, and review of our LinkedIn. So everything was like
Yeah.
happening, and all of that we already got some interviews going on, like real interviews with those companies. So I did an interview, I did a code test, I did another code test, and so it was a lot of happening. And that was, I think, in mid August.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it started mid August, and the Leap event was in September. So I
Okay.
think I think mid September as well. So it was 1 month of like really intensive prep, a lot of things, a lot of
Right. So
studying.
it's preparing yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, and with like there's not a lot of places that you can go and you have a one-on-one with somebody that is an expert on interviews. So I think that was a, like a differential
Mhm.
learning. For me, it was super
Yeah.
super good.
And how much did it cost?
Just a subscription, I can't even remember. It was so
It was actually free, but
no, it was free, and I still got 500 back from
yeah, yeah,
what it was invested. But
yeah.
I got a discount on subscribing if
Okay,
I
and you also
wanted
joined
to.
premium.
Yeah,
Hmm,
I
hmm.
also joined premium. So
Yeah,
like if
cool,
I
cool,
wanted
cool.
to, I think some girls didn't went, but I think it was super worth it. So I did
Yeah, yeah.
subscribe, and I still kept it for a while after that.
Nice, nice. Okay, well, thank you for that. Yeah, after you got hired. Cool. So yeah, just for everyone context, because some people are probably watching this are like, wait, leave, like traveling to different places. We can't really do that right now. So this is something we were doing before COVID, of course. And we would take, top candidates in VanHack, the top Van hackers who wanted to move to a specific city, like Toronto in Irla's case, or maybe Munich or Montreal, different cities, and we would have them come to the city for 1 week and have an in-person interview experience with the preparation that Irla mentioned beforehand. So we're not doing that right now. Maybe if you're watching this in 2021 or something in the future, and people are able to travel again across borders, without just a special permission, then hopefully, that there'll be Leap events again. But just the context for everyone. So let's talk about the interview that you actually got the job offer at. So how was that process? Uh, yeah, like so you arrived in Toronto, you had an interview with this company that you're working at now, and tell us about that.
Yeah, first started with the interview when I was still in Utah,
Mm,
and then we went to an interview there, if I'm not mistaken, because it was so many interviews. I'm like, did I get this right? It was super simple. They are really interested on the culture. They want to know if you are interested on their culture, the way they move things, the size of their team, and everything. Some of the interviews have the code test. This didn't, but they do look up your code on the internet. They
mm,
look your GitHub and your stuff. And I think I don't know, but maybe they do look on VanHack site the code test verification, probably.
mm,
And it was super simple. I really like hit it off with the interviewers. They were really nice, and we had a lots in common, lots to talk about. It was really really good interview. I really liked it.
Awesome. And then how did you feel when you got the offer?
It was surreal. I was really really happy. I got in my phone in the morning and I saw the offer there, and I was like, no. And then I saw it again. When you open and you're like zooming in to see if it's really real. Is that like? I called my husband, and I almost cried if I did.
That's so nice.
It was really
It's okay.
really
You can admit it now. You got the job.
yeah.
A little tear. That's so nice. Happiness. Cry. Tear of joy. Tear of joy.
Yes.
That's awesome. And then how about the relocation process? So you were living in the U.S. You were able to move to Toronto. How did that all work? Did you have to go back to Brazil? What was the process there?
Yeah, people think that because I was in US, it was different process from Brazil. It just have one little difference, that we didn't have to do the medical test, the medical
Mm,
exams. That was the only thing that we were like waived from. But
mm,
the whole process was the same thing. So all the documentation, all of the forms, all the same thing. The
nice.
difference, I would say, because I have a little girl, a 2-year-old, that she was born in US, so
Mm.
she didn't have to have a visa. So
Oh, nice.
she didn't have to do nothing. Just get your
She's
passport,
American.
and then
Yeah, yeah. It's so
and then
funny,
we get
right?
the
Like where you came out of the womb in the world determines your nationality, determines where you can travel, what documents you need. So
yeah,
funny.
it's interesting.
Cool. Anyways, so how about now? Like, how long have you been in Canada? How's life now? Are you enjoying yourself? How's your
Yeah,
family?
we came here in January, so before COVID and everything.
Mm, nice.
So it was super good. Like they told us that was a mild winter, so lucky us. It was okay. It's different. Like Utah, we got some snow, but it wasn't as much as here. Like
Yeah.
you don't feel your face, your legs. It was really really cold. But after you get the gear,
Yeah.
after you have the right things to wear, everything it's okay. The kids were good. At least my oldest started studying on a public school near her house, and we have the bus that takes her and comes. And she already has friends here on the condo.
Hmm.
It's a good place to like raise their family and have everybody here. And
Hmm.
everybody's super nice. We have a lot of peoples of different backgrounds, so she has friends from, I think, all over the world. It's just like
Hmm.
my team at work as well. It's really
Yeah.
good to like meet other types of cultures and other people. It's I think it's really really interesting. It's something that I really like to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think Toronto is the most international or multicultural city in the world. Over half the people in that city are born outside of Toronto or outside of Canada. So it's pretty awesome. And yeah, I agree. It's when you have different cultures, backgrounds, it makes things better for sure. Okay, well, last question is how about your tips, advice for other van hackers who are watching this video saying, "Damn, I want to be in her shoes and get hired as well. What can I do?"
And I think first of all, subscribe to VanHack. I should have done that in 2017. If you're listening to this and you're like, should I, shouldn't? If you want to go work abroad and do this, subscribe. See what's gonna happen,
Yeah.
and participate to the seminars, having those one-on-one, and you doing those Zoom calls that have the teacher that will teach you stuff. It's something that usually just reading a book won't give you. So I think
Hmm.
it's really important to do that. And when you're with other people, you're like you have this interaction that you usually don't have in English.
Hmm.
So that's really a plus. um, there's a lot of other materials that's in the website, so you already can dig into interview codes and everything. So that's will help out because they do a lot of code tests. You have to practice. It's something that you get knowledge doing practices. And I think the last thing that I would say to believe in yourself that you can do this. Like you said, and sometimes we don't believe that we can. It's something that I didn't have, like the
Mm,
feeling that I could get there.
yeah,
And I think we can all do it if you want to. If you set our mind and focus on an objective, you can do it. So believe in yourself. It will work.
definitely. Yeah, that sometimes is half the battle, right? I think there's a quote someone said that like if you believe you can, that you're halfway there, or something like that. Or if you believe you can, or you believe you can't, either way you're right. Something some famous person said that once, and I think it's really true. Yeah, and then in terms of signing up to VanHack, for sure, come on, guys, it's free. What do you have to lose? Log in with LinkedIn. It takes 10 seconds. Come on.
And you can test
Um,
out your English and see how well you're doing, and you can test out
yeah.
other like do the code verification. You test out how well you're doing, and sometimes that helps you to get your confidence up and see that you
Mm,
know you're doing great. You can do this. I had a friend that these days subscribed after I was doing some merch on my Instagram, and then he got a 92% out of 100. I was like,
nice.
"Whoa, that was really good." He was really
Yeah.
proud of himself.
Yeah, it's true. You don't know how good you are, and actually that's a good point about the English test. Like you can take the English test, and then you'll get a score. It's like basically a free evaluation of your English level, and takes like 15-20 minutes. So yeah, that's actually a really good point. So cool. Thanks, Irla. I appreciate you sharing that. Thanks so much for being here with us and recording this interview. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe on to the YouTube channel for many more videos like this. Check out our playlist where we have tons of success cases and people sharing knowledge about how they got hired and other experts as well. And if you're listening to this on your podcast, please subscribe on the podcast too and share with your friends. Cool. That's my little promotion. Yeah, thanks, Irla. I'm sure many people will really enjoy this podcast episode. And yeah, congratulations again on your success. And hope to see you when I'm back in Toronto one day.
Yeah, thank you very much for being here. I'm really, really happy to be part of this community. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Awesome. Okay.